So, some progress over the last little while. I've got the leading edge on the aileron. I've cut out the little notches for the hinges. One thing that I'm going to do that's different from the plans. In the plans, we've got a piece of angle that will be mounted on the rear spar and have a hole cut for the aileron torque tube. I've got a bunch of roller bearings that I'm going to put on there. Cut a hole in there, put the bearing into the angle, and then I'll use a piece of plastic and hold that bearing in with just a piece of plastic around the edge there. That will give that torque tube no resistance at all. So there's going to be no resistance on that, and with my little bearings on there, there'll be no resistance on the aileron. So the aileron system should be as low as resistance as possible for the build, I'm hoping, and we'll see what happens. So that's what I've been up to. I think this is going to be, I'm using my phone because the stupid camera died on me. I think you've seen everything else. Corner wingtip, I've got boxed in. I've got these little strengthening things, the T's, to strengthen that tip. I've got varnish on just about everything. I think what I'm going to do is get the spray gun out. Now that the weather's getting nicer out there, I can open up the door, get the spray gun, and give it a final coat with the spray gun. It is a lot of work, and painting all of these inside, upside, backside, bottom, top, getting in those little crevices is a real pain. So I want to just go over the whole thing with the spray gun, make sure that everything's done. I'm getting this off the bench today. I'm still waiting on hardware. Nuts, bolts, angle iron. So I'm gonna get it off of the bench today. I'm gonna start on wing 2, and that should move along quickly since I know what I'm doing now. And hopefully within a couple months I'll have the other wing built, and then we can start on the fuselage. All right, signing off for now. It's a nice day. I think I might go out and enjoy it a little bit, but I haven't done a video for a while. I just wanted to get you caught up. I'm still alive and doing things. Yeah, I don't have all the travel that I had without that. Probably hitting on a little nut in there. So what I'm gonna do is get some micro bubbles and fill in to get that good and solid, and then just sand that out a bit where it wants to meet. So just give that a light sanding, or maybe not so light sanding, to create a little dent right where that bolt hits it, to give me more play there. This one turned out pretty good. It doesn't hit the bolts because it's in a hole there, the hole that you're supposed to do. I've got that little edge on there. That's the top part of the aileron cove, I guess you call it. How much space is needed all along there? I'm still thinking about putting the covering on, and with the Challenger, what they had, this wraps all the way down, and then they attach it so air can't flow down through there. Still thinking about that. Also, with this hinge, I can put nuts on right now, and when I cover it, I can cut the covering around the hinge. With this hinge, I can put the nuts on now and cover it and just go around the hinge. I don't think that's a problem. This hinge actually has to put on after, because it comes this way onto the aileron to hold the aileron. So this hinge has to be put on after you do the covering. But how in the world do you get at those nuts down there when the covering's on? Now you can do an access panel on the bottom there, but then again you're dealing with all kinds of lattice work in there to try and get your fingers up around the torque tube with wrenches to hold those. So I've asked on Facebook, haven't really got an answer as to whether or not T-nuts will work. Danielle used hidden nuts, what do you call those, with two screws that will hold a nut plate on there. And then I'm assuming just screw the screws right into the wood on each side. So screw there, screw there. For the bottom one, do the same thing so that a nut plate is actually on those. And I've got those ordered, so I'm waiting for those as well. I think that's what I'm going to do, because actually trying to get at that with just an access panel, I don't think you'd be able to get your hands in there or a wrench in there to get on that. But all right, we're going to do a little test to see how strong that glue is. My glue was cloudy. Up here in Canada, even in a warm garage, it gets cold in the winter, and the T38, whatever it is, was cloudy, and I heated it up. I saw right from the start, it gets cloudy, and what it does, it gets thick. So I just ran it under some warm water for a couple seconds, and it clears up, and it started running better. So I'm going to just check and see how it does in the squeeze test here. I've made a scarf joint about 1 to 7, 1 to 8. And we'll see how it does strength-wise. Okay, well, it broke. Where did it break? Looks like the glue held. That looks like it's broke. The wood's broken there. Let me go a bit further just to make sure that that was the wood breaking. And not the glue joint. Alright. So looks like the wood's broken there. The glue held up. That was a break along the wood, it looks like to me. A little bit there in the very end gave up, but the main joint broke along the wood. I'll try another test another day, but that glue joint held up pretty good there. You can see it's all cracking, and the joint in there is solid. The wood gave up the ghost there. Got it all glued up. So that's the top rib on the rear spar. Right along the edge. The edge is nice and straight. I did have to adjust the level on the table over the winter. She was off a bit. So I put a bunch of shims in there to make sure everything's good. So that's nice and level and straight. And then tomorrow we'll get the wing going. And that's why I made sure everything was good and level.